Hello again, SGPers. I'm Companion Wolf. Welcome to another slice of the Tutorials Extra Pi, which is a series of small videos updating my old, out-of-date tutorials and expanding on them, bringing them more up to date. Each video follows directly from the previous ones, so I'd recommend you watch those first if you haven't done so already. As a reminder, in part 1 we set up a recruitment notice. In part 2 we had Marie request some flowers before she joined, and in part 3 we set up the flowers with some sparkly bits, particle effects that disappeared once you obtained the flower. In this part we're going to recruit Ignaz, who requires money. However, there are a few tweaks we need to do before doing that. First, I am going to place Marie on one of the chairs and set her graphic to chair as well. There is one here. So she will sit on the chair. If you're using custom models outside the defaults, just make sure that you set the elevations correctly. So in my case, it would be an elevation of 1. And then in the NPC event, make sure that ignore elevation is checked. When you speak to her, she will ignore you otherwise. A quick note here, you cannot make objects as events if you want a character to sit on things like chairs. Likewise with the bed, it needs to be an object for the characters to lie on them. This causes collision problems, so use the chair or bed as a normal object and then have an event on top of them with the ignore elevation checked to interact with them. Otherwise it simply won't work. And so now with that said, I added a few doors here and there and the house map names changed. So now this is house 1, house 2, house 3, etc. And the maps have been changed accordingly. Maria's house is house 1, and Ignaz's is house 2. So he is the next person to recruit, requiring gold as his prerequisite for joining. In tutorial number 6, he required a fixed fee for joining, which was 500 gold. This time, we're going to spice things up a bit and randomize the number, the amount that he asks for. Now, as you can see, his lair is very sparsely populated. Might add to that later in the series. So with his event, the first thing is, when Ignaz is not in the party, is the condition. In the event details, we're going to add an advanced variable box to assign the random number. In this case, it's between 3 and 5. And then we will multiply that number using the normal variable box by 100. This will then output an amount based on the random number in between 300 and 500. So 300, 400, 500 will be the required amount. So we next add a display dialog. I'm a capable sword for hire and then we insert the variable number. In this case, we had set it to 0 with the control switch, the variable. Gold. I'll join you and fight alongside you. Do you want to hire me? Then we add a display selection with the yes and no options. I do have a frog in my throat, I apologize. Anyway, with the check variable box,
We will check to see if the random number equals 300, the first in the list. And if it is, we do a check for a check held money when the amount of gold held is 300 or above. Then we can subtract the money, play a sound if you want to, and then display the text. Ignaz has joined the party, and then we add him to the party. Now for more information on the control characters, such as the \V, you can watch tutorial number 68, which covers the message control characters in more detail. That just deals with the message control characters and not any of the text decorations, which I'll cover in a future tutorial. So if 300 is not in the party, in other words, the player doesn't have enough money, underneath its check conditions do not apply, you will put a display dialog saying, sorry, but you don't have enough money, come back when you want to hire me. And then we'll do the same thing for the others. It's essentially the same, but the values have changed. If the random contents is equal to 400, when gold is 400, subtract 400, and then rinse and repeat for the amount of 500, changing these numbers accordingly. So, the final branch for the selection is if we go all the way down, if no is selected, he will just simply say, suit yourself. Now once Ignaz joins the party, we can go into the house and check the recruitment notice. Ignaz's name will be crossed out. Marie's too will be if she joined already. That's house 1. A few quick notes before playtesting. You can add more branches under the yes, just like I've done here, if you want more gold options. Yes, there's a lot of repetition here, but this is the only efficacious way of doing this, given that you can't directly add variables to the actual money held yet. So now, let's do a quick playtest. You can speak to Marie. She'll tell you about the flowers. If you had the ignore elevation unchecked, she would just sit there and she wouldn't be able to respond. So now, let's go into house 2, formerly house 1. Speak to our friend Ignaz for 300. They'll join. Yes, sorry, but you don't have enough money. So for convenience, we have the money in the chest. Now, speak to him. Oh, what happened? First of all, it was 300, and then it's 400. Ah. So we speak to him again, and it's back to 300. Now, the method that we use randomized the amount of gold each time. So the first time you would talk to Ignaz, he requires 300. The second time it would be 500, and the third time it would be 300. Probably not good if the player has painstakingly obtained that money, only to find out that their price has increased. But then again, constantly talking to him will get the figure you want. Not very realistic either. So to bypass this and have a consistent amount, like a set fixed amount, we can add a local check event switch, and then this one would be local switch is set to off, and then these two here, the add random number and the multiplier, we would simply cut and paste underneath that, and then add an event switch to turn the local switch on when we play test again. We'll go straight to his house and ask him to join us. So for 500, I'm going to speak to him again, 500, and it's consistent throughout instead of being like random. So Ordinarily you'd acquire the money elsewhere, but once again we'll use this chest for our immediate purposes, and we get 500, which is enough for you to hire him. And so this is where the little music plays, and he will join the party, like so. So I'm going to end the video here. In part 5, still on tutorial number 6, the next party member on the list was Lisa, who required some eggs. This time though, she'll demand an omelette, which you'll have to cook. To be notified of when I upload my videos or regular tutorials, subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon as well. You can donate through PayPal to help with my videos and other projects. You can also support me on Subscribestar to gain some unique content, additional perks and exclusive access to some unique tutorials. You can also support me by purchasing my asset packs on the Gnome Treasure Store and itch.io, soon to be expanded. And here is a thank you list of everyone who has supported me thus far. Everything helps and is greatly appreciated. You can speak to me on Discord, other members too, and subscribe to my Twitter and Facebook accounts for updates, although my Twitter is updated more regularly. All of the usual links are in the description below. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Until the next time.